I was looking at this official statement from President-elect Trump as well, in addition to the tweet that he sent out. And he said this: "These terrorists and their regional and worldwide networks must be eradicated from the face of the earth." Kellyanne, what's the plan for that?
Well, first of all, it's part of why he won, Jenna, because people want stronger leadership as commander-in-chief and as president of the United States. It's not enough to say you're going to contain the terrorists or negotiate with them or hope that they don't advance anymore. Somebody needs to get serious here. When he says eradicate, he means find a way to make sure that ISIS stops. I mean, their bloodletting is now on our own shores, as we know, through Orlando and through San Bernardino in just the last year, Jenna, and certainly as recently as yesterday in Europe. And the fact is that when the president-elect says he's going to eradicate them, he has specific plans in place. He has talked about combining with other allies to try to stop them, to put some teeth in the policies. Everything's on the table in terms of what that means. But also, his extreme vetting program is very attractive to many Americans because we simply don't have one now. You have countries that harbor, train, and export terrorists, most definitely radical Islamic terrorists, that are not vetted. And you remember, of course, Jenna, that the ISIS said that they would just mix and mingle in with the Syrian refugees. They promised to do that. For all we know, they are doing that. And that's another, I think, big problem, of course, that we just don't know who lives among us. We don't know who's migrating from country to country and what their intentions are. But the strength, not just peace through strength, but just strong leadership around the globe and stopping terrorism was a huge piece of his victory and will be a huge piece on day one of his administration.
And because of that, it's why I would like to go a little further with that question, because terrorism has been an issue that has plagued both Democrats and Republicans administrations over the last decade, as we've seen. And so we'd like to get more specific as to why Mr. Trump's strategies will be different and therefore more impactful than past administrations. You just said that he's going to put teeth on policies, that everything is on the table. When we think everything, I think we think about the movies, Kellyanne. Can you be more specific about when everything's on the table, what does that mean?
Sure. Well, I've been inviting everyone, Jenna, to go back and look at his speech from about August or September on his 4 or 5-point plan to defeat radical Islamic terrorism. He put it out there. I know Fox News covered it, others covered it, but people forgot about it because it's not as exciting and titillating to cover as, you know, the scandal of the day or the comment of the day in politics. And that's unfortunate because this is actually what people want to know about. So he has a very specific plan everybody can pull up. And what he says in there is that frankly, we have to stop looking the other way, too. We sometimes let political correctness and convention overtake what is incredibly important here, which is to protect Americans, American allies, their interests abroad and at home. And the idea that we need to really bolster our lone wolf terrorism program. The FBI failed to see what Omar Mateen was doing, an American-born radicalized terrorist who killed 49 innocent people at the Pulse nightclub in Orlando in May. That would be one aspect. And another aspect is, you know, cutting back on these ridiculous visa and these visa overstays. The fiancée in the San Bernardino massacre, she came here on a fiancé K-1 visa.
Right, we know that well.
What are we doing with that? You know, and so again, it's the visa, it's the vetting. Sure. It's the really trying to combine with our allies.
Well, speaking of the allies, has President-elect Trump reached out to Angela Merkel in the last 24 hours? I'm wondering if there's been any conversation between the two of them in light of this attack.
So I can't reveal that. What I can tell you is that he and the Vice President-elect have talked to about 55 or close to 60 world leaders now, probably closer to 60 now. Either met with them or more usually is the case over the phone. And we're very sensitive and respectful of the fact that for the next month, Jenna, we have a president of the United States, and his name is President Barack Obama. It's not Donald Trump. But at the same time, Donald Trump came out in no uncertain terms, unequivocally, denouncing the acts of terrorism yesterday, also the assassination of an ambassador, which violates every convention, every rule that you can think of internationally, and also expressing condolences to their families. But look, he has this as a centerpiece of what he discusses with world leaders. He has it as a centerpiece of how he ran and why he won, frankly, as president of the United States. I mean, people are worried. And I can tell you as a pollster for years, Americans made very clear they would prefer that all of the violence stay over there among people who are arguing among themselves and not come here. And we know now that it's on our shores.
Sure,
we know that. And we just don't feel comfortable. Americans don't feel, they actually feel less safe than they did 4 or 8 years ago, which was a key point of our campaign.